Toni.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, doing well. What about you?
Fine, fine.
You had a busy day today, I think, or not?
Finish the week.
Sorry?
Finish the week.
You finished the week.
Yeah, yes.
But maybe you have some other business to attend to. But I thought you today had a busy day. I noticed you were going around a lot
Yeah,
today.
very busy, very busy.
Okay, so we can get to that in a minute, and you can tell us what the life of a winemaker, and not only a winemaker, but also the president of Grandes Pagos España, how it looks like, because people will be very interested in what you do on a day like this, probably. But first of all, I wanted to thank you for joining. We are now in episode 3 of 6, so we're, I would say, in the middle of a series through Spain. And we ended up in, I would say, Valencia region, Mediterranean region of Spain. And we're going to talk about the region where you're located, your winery, obviously, about Grandes Pagos, about the grapes, the special grapes that you have, but a lot of nice things. So thank you for joining us. And for those who are watching, I was explaining before, we are going to obviously taste one of your wines, because we cannot do an interview without experiencing at least one of your nice wines that you make. And I will show it for everybody who's watching. Some people might have already read it, but it's one of the wines you make from the Mustiguillo grape. Yes, you have the exactly same one. I think it's 2019, correct?
Correct.
Perfect. So it's a very interesting story, which I already heard some things about, but we'll go into that later. We're going to do halfway down the show, we're going to do some of this tasting. But let's start with a short introduction from your side, who you are and what keeps you busy in life. Let's put it like that.
Okay, I'm Toni Sarrión from Mustiguillo. I born in Requena, in the same town. We have the one part of the vines. The vines are in Utiel. It's a property my father and my mother both in the 70s, called El Terrerazo. And my father never dedicated to the wine world. Rented the sometimes the vines, sometimes sell the berries to the cooperative or another big wineries. And in '99, I decided come back my town, translate my family. In this moment, I married now with three daughters, but in '99, I only have one daughter. And for my family and say, okay, come back to the town, come back to Requena.
To the roots.
And yes, to the roots. And okay, start a new project, a new style of life. And okay, I'm very happy after 22 years. I'm beginning a fashion project, and difficult project, of course, with take the flat to area and a difficult variety. Okay, we are in land of Mediterranean Sea in the province to Valencia, in a plateau around between 800 and 900 meters to the sea level in two different properties, El Terrerazo and Finca Calvestra. But we begin with El Terrerazo. And
so you have nice altitude there.
It's high altitude. More people think in Valencia, always thinking in the rice area, beach, orange trees, but you know, in the coastline is practically 100.
How many kilometers is it from Valencia, from the coast to you?
100 kilometers.
100 inland.
1 hour driving, but the first 30-45 kilometers is very flat.
Yeah.
After you beginning to go up in the Sierra Negrete and Sierra del Tejo, and all the area of Tel Requena is a big plateau. It's around 45 kilometers longer to Madrid. To the north and the south is probably 30-35 kilometers. It's big but very concentrated. It's around, I don't know exactly now, but 30 to near to 45,000 hectare vine, mainly bobal.
And it's been like that for a long time, or has it increased over the last decades, or how is the growth of this?
Requena is very established in the quantity of hectare in the last, I don't know, 50 years. Changed because the old vines you can find in the area is Bobal, Garnacha, and in the 60s, 70s coming a lot of Tempranillo. It's not the ideal variety in this area.
No, I would not think obviously about this south.
But you know, more people in the 70s like copy the style of Rioja.
Yeah.
And I
this
think
was the big success number back then. You could make money with Rioja, with Tempranillo, not with Bobal.
Was a big mistake, and more properties
they switched. They took out the old vines as well.
Yeah. And I decided focusing in Bobal grapes, and decide beginning to don't sell berries to other properties, and beginning to elaborate in the property. And we begin step by step with small quantities, focusing in the old vines at the beginning. Along of the years, we one experience beginning to know parcel by parcel the best soils of the property. Beginning to make studies.
It takes time to understand how the soil is different and the microclimates are different.
Yes, because in Requena you have two accidents with mountains and rivers, the Oces del Cabriel, a big valley, and in the valley you have very fertile soil, black land. In Mustiguillo, in El Terrazo, you have a calcar soil with a.
So it's very, very, very different.
Very different. Is white and close to dolomitic origin. You can find some black rocks and very poor. And we have sandy with a small gravas in part of the property, and we're beginning to ferment it time by time, parcel by parcel,
to see how it's first of all to see how it's separately, and then think about how you make this big puzzle.
Yes, and very fast we're beginning to look at the difference quality in the different soils, and beginning to appreciate the quality of the best soils about Bobal, the wine longer, better, more structure, better acidity, and we beginning and say, okay, this is the way, and continue to look these small parcels, and check out Bobal of the bad soils and replant it again in the good soils. At the beginning.
So you're really choosing the location, what fits best to the variety, instead of just planting it and like they used to do, and keep it there and just see how much you get out of it and what the effect is.
Yeah, what was difficult to explain to my family, because the family say it's the same. Why
you're wasting vines, you're wasting grapes, you're being too selective.
Yeah, because in the same property we have close to 800 meters, and one part of the property is close to 900 meters in the different soil. I say, okay, because the grapes is totally different. And if we want advantage, we want increase in the quality, no in volume, we need time. We need probably 10 years to take this.
It's an investment, and at that time you don't make the money, because you make money when you have grapes and you have wine. So if you reset more or less, then it is an investment, because you're not getting money from that part at that moment.
Yes, because in that moment now, in the last 3-4 years in Spain, in one more good areas, and in Mediterranean areas too, more people talk about the quality of the soil, the difference wine about calcar soil, granitic soil, terrace, and etc., etc. But 20 years ago, was very difficult to.
Nobody was.
Families never believe in this crazy man. Take out Bobal to plant it again, all vines, okay.
So that was a very different way of you approaching it. You said it was somewhat over 20 years ago when you came back. So 22, 23 or something years, you said, when you came back in the region, in the winery.
I began in in my first vintage, what's 99?
99, yeah.
Now it's 22.
Okay. And before that, what were you doing before? You were already also doing wine business, or did you do something else? Or
No. I come in, you know, in 30 years ago, your father helped you to take a decision about what you would.
There was no choice.
You want to study, and my father said, "Oh, Tony, you need to study business administration."
It's good, yeah.
Economists in the past, you only have one career. You have more career like now. I have daughters, can choose a lot of different way. And well, fine, it's good. But in my idea, I always thinking in make agronomic engineer or winemaker.
Yeah.
But okay, I choose and help with go to study with my career like my father likes is economic, and working in a bank a long time because I study in the afternoon and go to work in the morning.
Yeah.
After finish one company of porcelain, I think it's porcelain, make plates, contract me to take about cost of the company in a big factory close to Valencia. It's 3 years or 4 years, I don't remember. And when I was 26, 27, my father called me and said, "Okay, coming with the company of the family.
Now you have to come. Now we need you."
My family make roads. I said, "Okay, it's fine," and go with my father, establishing in the capital in Valencia. But I always thinking in come back town.
Yeah.
And
but the grounds, more or less all the vineyards, they were already owned still in that time by the family. You explained you didn't use them that much, not like this now.
I spent a lot of summer either in a finca alternativa because my father, the holidays, all the family go to the property, but are in Madrid, in Cuenca, and Valencia. At the family, all the family meet in the property. I know very well my property. I have a lot of photos, like a Chelsea in the swimming pool.
So it was always part of your life, even if you were not working in wine back then.
Totally.
So and it's very interesting because only when we started now this conversation, I hear something that really ties into Grande Pagos España. So we did not practice this. Obviously, you you spend a lot of time and work for the association, but I also understand why, because this is now the third interview that we're doing, and in the first one we talked to Jean from Belandraat, and then Maria last time from Alonso de Hierro. Everybody obviously very different people, very different regions, different wineries, but what they all have in common is respect for the soil and for the climate and for uniqueness of what their domain or their bodega has to bring to them. And the way you're talking about coming into the family company, but really making it a winery more or less, but looking into the different parcels and really picking what's best and taking this grape variety and changing the way people look at it and the wine that comes out of it. I think this is the essence that goes into Grandes Pagos. But maybe I should ask you, how do you see Grandes Pagos España?
I think it's Grandes Pagos España is very similar. The idea is the same idea or very similar idea like I have in my property. Is big family. The property is Spain, and very good estates, very good soils, and we talk more about the description of the terroir, and obviously you need a property, you need vines, a variety, a microclimate, a big climate, tradition, but you need a person, a family.
A translator.
Yes, and I think in the concept of the rat, you need the people, you need the winemakers or the owners. And Grandes Pagos de España is a big family of very, very nice people. All together helps in the same way. No, it's a competition. we think a lot new members, because in Spain you can find very good wine outside of the association. But we are sure in the association we have very good wines, but very, very, very good people. Very good. This is very important. A big family, and the different sizes, big companies or medium-sized company with Abadía de Retuerta, or famous name like Mariano Garcia with Alto Mauro. A great family is Gramona, and very old family in the wine world is Alvear. But
they're very different, but they have same things in common.
Small properties like Cortijo de los Aguilares in Málaga, small properties or medium size like my property Mediterranean, or Finca Sandoval in Mancha, with a small project. The most important is the idea and the philosophy, not the size of the property.
An expression of the terroir,
the expression
of the grape.
Yeah, this is the most important in the association. And we beginning in 2000. The association called my property in 2004. We are not the founders, because the founders are 5 families in 5 properties in Castilla-La Mancha, but top 10 in the beginnings. And step by step we are working in the association, and with Carlos and the members of the expert committee decide change the chairman or the president. Call me, and I'm very busy, but
but you have to make time for it. If they ask you, you cannot say no.
Honor and a pleasure. Take the I don't know.
When was that when you started as the president? Which year?
I think it's 2015.
2015.
Yeah.
So 6th year now.
Yeah. It's nice. It's
nice
too much for me, but the rest of the members, like I continue 1 or 2 years more. Okay, it's fine. But
well, it's nice, because if you now go to the website and you look on the name of the list of the wineries, now you're really spread all around Spain. And I remember when we talked about doing this series of interviews, and I talked to Beatrice about this, and we had to make a choice, because we talked about how much episodes do we want to do. For me, the most important thing was that I want to show people the diversity of Spain and Spain as a wine country, and give more of a stage, because a lot of people, when they talk about Spain and think about Spanish wine, the things that they think about is Tempranillo, Rioja, Verdejo, and most of it. And I think that's sometimes Cava, and this is a shame, because you have such great also indigenous grapes, and I'm happy that we're today talking to you, because you have 2 fine examples of that, which we will talk about later. But it's really it was a tough choice to choose 5 wineries, because we have to do introduction as well, but 5 wineries, and we could easily do 5 more or 10 more and have very different regions and different stories. It would be no problem.
Yeah, we are. I think we are talking about 45 different varieties in the association. It's too much. It's fine. It's a good example of the variety of the type of wine you can find in Spain. And I think now are close to 28 working in organic. I think 5-6 working in biodynamic. And I think it's 100% don't use herbicides, pesticides, and any chemical product in the soil. And we are.
But what is interesting, correct me if I'm wrong, this is not something that you as an association tell the people to do. They choose, it's their philosophy, and you come together. This is one of the parts that ties you together, respect for nature. So these practices of biodynamic and organic, etc., is not like a rule that you have to be biodynamic to be part of the association. It's the other way around. People think they feel like they need to be like that.
I think it's more important the feeling and the idea of the rule of the association. It's more important. And
so it lives in the hearts and the mind of the people, not in the rule book for the association.
And we are very nice community. We are close to, I think, 300 members. You take in contact the winemakers, the people working in the vines, the export managers, the community director, all together spend, I don't know, not too much time, probably 1 hour a week or 1 day a month.
If everybody puts 1 hour in, you have a lot of hours together.
Yeah, this is beautiful, because it's very difficult to find in another association. I'm very happy because I think in the last 7 years we obtained a very nice community of people believe in this association. Yeah. For me, this is the most important thing.
Now, what I like about it is it doesn't matter if I talk to wineries from Germany or from Italy or from Spain. I do a lot of different interviews. Also, mostly it's family-owned companies, to be honest. So most everyone I interview is 90%, I would say, family-owned. But not everybody has all the resources to be successful, especially internationally successful. So you mentioned, for example, the role of an export manager. I know you have a very good person in the company for that, but some other people in the association maybe have not the power or the resources for that, but they can learn from colleagues in the association to get help to do that. It's not a cooperation, but it's sort of a cooperation there.
Yeah, and it's very nice because the export manager believe in the association not to sell more wine around the world, to make a brand, a big umbrella, to talk about the philosophy of these different wineries.
So they don't only talk when you go outside in the foreign countries. You don't only talk about Mustiguillo. You talk about Pagos. You talk about the whole combination of it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think that's a very interesting approach. A little bit more about Bodega Mustiguillo before we go into talking about the wine that we're going to taste, because maybe you can explain us a little bit how is the split between the bodega, because you have two very different parts and also the tie to the two main varieties. But I will let you do the explaining in short how it is differentiated in your organization.
Okay, I think we have Mustiguillo. We have several focus. The main focus is in the soil. You have two properties, one for whites and one for reds. The white is Calvestra and the red is Finca Terrorazo. Totally different soils, I explained too. The other focus is create life in the soil. We work with cover grass, with mustard, with rabbis, with cereals planted in after harvest. In spring, cut the grass and involving. We prepare our compost. We have animals in the property. Prepare our compost with biodynamic technicals. I bacteria in the soil. A lot of I don't know in English, enlaces de carbono, or for the when you put root materials in the soil, you can.
Oh, the cow horns, you mean?
Yes. Carbon bonds. Yes, and you can decompose and take the minerality of the different minerals of the soil. We don't use herbicides, pesticides, and after the other focus is look for the balance in between the quantity of the products and the quality of the soils. We have some soils we can obtain probably, I don't know, 1 or 2 tons more than the others, and we don't talk about the ton by hectare. We talk ton by parcels. This parcel is 3, another is 2, another is 6. It's totally different because the soil is totally different. And the other focus is in local varieties. We beginning with Bobal. We are focus. We make a.
I could have given this talk a title. I was thinking about it. Just taking your name off and put Mr. Bobal there, because I don't know if you like it, but I know a lot of people refer to you as Mr. Bobal.
Yeah, what was it in the past? It was an importer in England, a master of wine. It was David Leaf, a very nice man. I learned a lot of David, and say you are Mr. Bobal, because I don't know any winemaker in the world make a lot of Bobal, of different Bobal in wine winery, different plots, and work.
You were the only one that really believed in the variety.
Yeah,
more than what it was at that moment.
And yeah, today.
So for the reds, Bobal is your grape variety.
Obviously, we work with Garnacha. We make a lot of Syrah. Yeah. We've been working in mestizaje in the past with different varieties, because my father in the 90s, more people recommended put Cabernet, Merlot, Tempranillo, of course.
Yeah.
Garnacha, and we make a mestizaje with a blend of all varieties, 7 varieties. But with the pass of the time, mestizaje is the entry level of the property. Decide working with the 3 Mediterranean variety, focusing Bobal mainly, a little bit of Garnacha, and a few of Syrah.
It's nice, because a friend of mine who has some wine shops in the Netherlands, he comes to Valencia, I think, almost every year. And I talked to him. I said, we're going to talk with Toni next week or something like that. He said, I know the wine. I said, oh, you know the Quincha Coral or what? Yes, but I also know the other one, because when you go to Valencia and all the wine bars, the house wine is the other one that you just talked about.
Mestizaje, yeah. It's very famous in Valencia, because it's very honest wine.
Yeah,
it's
for a fair price, but very good, pleasurable, enjoyable for everybody.
I think it's honest. I think it's very important for me. I think for more winners of the Grandes Pagos de España, make a very honest entry level. It's a fruity variety place, not too much. A lot of maquillas. It's not too much barrel, not too much things. And
it's not a wine you need to put away for 10 years or 20 years. You can just open it and drink it, enjoy it.
Yes.
Fresh fruity.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's your reds. Obviously, we can keep talking about that all night long. You talked about the entry level. Then, before we go into the white and then the wine that we are going to taste, one other question I have. You have in the red ones, in the Bobal ones, you have the single variety. You have the Quincha Coral, which is your flagship wine, but you don't make that every year.
I don't make every year because the Bobal is so difficult variety. We talked today with a small fair in a restaurant in the area in Valencia with another makers, because it's very difficult the consistent of the variety in every vintage. Because if you take a Tempranillo, the berries are like this. It's like one fond is 150 grams, loosey bunches, and small side berries or medium berries. The Bobal in the same vine, not in the same parcel, in the same vine, you can find bunches. One bunch is around 1 kilogram, very compact, very big, and it depends of the harvest. Is that you have a raining summer, the berries.
Is it because the variety retains a lot of water, because it thinks it needs it when it becomes the dry it comes? This makes me think about Puglia. In Puglia, they have obviously with the Primitivo. There's sometimes the same problem with that. The inside of the cluster is not ripe, and then you have you don't have a successful grapes.
Yeah, you don't have the same sugar in one berry in the same bunch.
So you really have to pick.
Yeah, in middle it's rosé, outside is black, and the tannin is totally different, because sugar at the end you have a balance. You can, I don't know, 13.5 or 14. The difficulty to make a elegance, a very nice balanced Bobal, is the quality of the tannins. And you need to find very, very poor soil to beginning to obtain a small and loosey, very loosey bunches. And
so with some vintages, you just don't get it right. Not enough, at least. And what happens in that? So you produce another wine, which is a level under that, I would say. It was always, I don't want to say about better or worse is different, but every year you also produce another single.
If I don't make Quincha Corral go to Finca Terrazo, because Finca Terrazo come in 100% of Gobele or Basso vines is planted in 45, 70, 75 years old, and 100% calcar soil.
Okay.
Calcar soil. And the parcel of Quincha Corral is this parcel, but very special for me. And okay. Vintage don't go to the market, go Finca Terrazo. And the same, if Finca Terrazo is difficult vintage, some parcel go to Mestizaje. And if Mestizaje is not coming well, the wine.
So it's like a waterfall, it goes down all the time.
I sell the wine.
Yeah. Nice. Then we talk about the white ones, and before you tell us a little bit about the Mustiguillo and how you also came to produce the white wine, because I always like it when a winemaker has both red and the white. Not everybody has the luxury of having the both, but I'm going to show it to everybody because some people might are even drinking the same one. But today we are drinking the Finca Calvestra 2019, made of 100%. It's 100%, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And beautiful bottle. And I was talking before the show with your expert manager Alfonso, and he explained already a little bit to me that this is your second child or project, big project after the Bobal. So tell us a little bit about Mustiguillo and about what we're going to drink here.
Mustiguillo is the second chapter of my life.
Yeah, second chapter. That was the word. Yeah, correct.
I think is was more easy than Bobal for me, because after working with Bobal, after working with difficult.
That's the worst. If you be successful in this, then you can do all the rest.
Yes. And I decided make this wine in 2004, 2005. I beginning to thinking in a white, and my father bought a new property in the family in 2000. Finca Calvestra is in the Terrazo is in Utiel, Calvestra is in Requena, in the mountains, in 920 meters.
So even higher.
Nobody likes go this area because frost, a lot of rain. It's totally different inside of the forest. The billboard, eat the berries, etc. And check out some varieties and only maintain the old Bobal in the property, but it's too high for the Bobal, and high and raining, and totally a soil totally different than the Terrazo. And I talked with my father, say, okay.
What do we do with this? We have it now, but what are we going to do with it?
Yeah, we stand by, and I don't know. We are thinking, take the rights to plant it again, and we are thinking what happened with this property. And 2004, 2005, beginning to thinking in a Mestizaje white, some French varieties and one local, but we don't find the local grape. And take with Macabeo, with Tardana, rent a little parcels, and make a small trip. Another part of the mountain of my property, Alto Turia, is close to 1,000 meters.
So it's even more high.
And we find all plants of Mustiguillo with a small viticulture. I talk with the viticulture, I say,
does it work?
It's possible I rent the parcel. It's 1.5 hectares, not too much.
Well, I want to try for a vintage, to make a vintage.
And we make green harvest. You work the land, make the treatment, and I come in to make the green harvest and the harvest. And I pay you a rent, and you don't have any problem. And the man say, okay, it's fine. And I begin it in 2006. And the first Finca Calvestra is coming to the market in 2012.
So it took you 6 years.
Yeah, I spent 6 years
it's a long time, even in a winemaker's life.
Yeah, to spend to the variety, to understand the variety, to rafting in the old Bobal. I rafting in the.
So you grafted in the Bobal.
Yeah, and stand by in the property, thinking in the variety, because one parcel you're grafting need time to understand the variety, to make the regulation to the canopy with the production. All is coming fine.
Yeah, so you need at least a few vintages, because every time you're adjusting this,
we
then next year you have to wait until next year before you try the other thing.
Yeah, we have in the properties bottles to 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
They're still there.
Small quantities, of course. But in 2012, I decided, okay, this is fine. Okay.
Now it is what I think it should be.
Sorry?
This was the moment where you say, okay, we had vintages, but now I think this is what I was trying to get to.
Yeah, in my opinion, like you, is you need time to make a wine. You need time to make a wine if you don't understand the variety. I think it's
every year you get only one chance, huh? So it takes a few years to get up to try all the things you need to try.
For me, I think I'm very happy now. Sometimes to take Dutch about is the good way. Is 6 years to take about to launch projects. Okay, it's no, I don't know, it's my style. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, you did. It's not the same, because I wanted to say you did it once, but it's different because the bobal was there already, and it's just you interpreted the bobal in a different way, and the vineyards in a different way. But so it was a huge challenge. Don't get me wrong, but this is still a very different challenge than the one with the Mestiguera, because there was not much reference for Mestiguera there.
No, when I'm beginning, only in 2 cooperatives make some bottling a small quantity for the members of the cooperative, for the viticultures, but no in the market. And I think we are recovering the variety in this case. And the first vintage, more sommeliers or winemaker take a lot of Dutch is the continue of this quality in this wine, because it's very good variety. Now you can drink 2012 or 13 or 14. It's amazing, because the evolution of this wine is amazing. It's so nice. I recommend
so
it.
It tells you that there is so much more potential still to get out of it. It's nice. Let's enjoy a little bit of the glass, and then tell us a little bit about the winemaking, and for those people that have not had the Mestiguera, because a lot of people probably never had a Mestiguera wine. What can you expect when you have?
Okay, for me the winemaking of the Mestiguera is very, very easy. I don't have any. I knock a Amago. I don't Merlin. I think we make a lot of hard work in the vines, in the green harvest, because the Mestiguera is a high production variety. You need to take out probably 30-40% in the summer.
Yeah.
Not too much, because it's very similar to the bobal. It's a big bunches. You need make a different pruning to another varieties in winter.
But if you come there in the summer, it's full.
Green harvest in summer is necessary, and be very patient, because the harvest is too late, and it's coming at the end of September, beginning of October. You need to choose the small berries at the beginning, and probably you need 3 times in 10 days to obtain the nice ripening, the full ripening, to obtain this kind of wine. Go small by hand. It's a harvest by hand. Go to the winery selection table, because the Mestiguera is a difficult variety, because no pacificate the berries, but like a high brown color. You need take out. Go to the press. We make maceration with the skin 8-10 hours. Small press. Not too big pressure. And go a tank. And I wait 3 days and make the racking to clean the wine. It's no wine, it's the must, the juice, and go to fermenting, beginning the fermenting in big barrel of acacia oak, and it's very neutral. And only the job of the winemaker is control the temperature. Only.
And it's old oak or used oak or
very old, very old. It's very old. I look for no any maquillas, very simple. The expression of the soil, expression of the property. This is the idea.
Yeah, it's much more the use of the oak is much more about the oxidation that you need, and not about the added construction of the oak in the wine and the body. You don't need that. You want it to retain freshness and pureness.
Yeah, and you don't feel the barrel in the.
No, absolutely not. No. I agree.
The typical smell of the variety is white flowers, almond flowers, little bit of garriga of the Mediterranean forest.
Yeah,
it's very easy. And at the end of the, I think 2, 3, 4 years, beginning to a smaller honey smells.
Yeah.
And increase the quality of the smell in the wine when have 3, 4 years. In my opinion, we don't have wine because the production is not too big and year. And I would like keep the wine 3 years in the property. After 3 years, totally different because it's small. The evolution is very small, very quiet. We working with the pH 3.3, 3.2. Very is like a Burgundy, and the acidity is not high. 5.5, close to 6.
How long does it stay in the barrels?
Sorry?
How long does it stay?
1 year. 1 year.
1 year.
1 year, see, 1 year. After 1 year, we go directly to bottling.
Yeah.
I maintain the wine very darkly. I don't like clean too much along of the year because it's I prefer the reductive crianza.
Yeah.
In the wine is for me is better, and after go bottling directly with any parchment. I keep in the bottle. I intend keeping the bottle 1 year, but it's impossible because the people of the
the market is screaming for the wine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's nice because a lot of people always. I have this. A good winemaker that knows that he makes a wine that it takes some few years. So as in France they say a vin de garde. They know and they tell you, okay, you should do this. But then I always say, tell me where I can get a bottle, where I can buy a bottle of your wine that is 3 years or 5 years old. Because with these wines, they're always too good that people will want to try it. It's the same with Bellandrat. Jean always told me, Niels, you have to wait. You have to wait. I said, well, tell me where I get your wine that is 5 years old, because I know it's there, but people don't have patience this time anymore. So either you as a winery keep them and release them later, but this also eats in your cash flow and you need the space to keep it, or there needs to be in the chain of your retail and your consumption, some things need to change, because I do agree it's a shame sometimes with great wines like this.
Now in of course in my region in Valencia, Mediterranean, close, including Andalusia, more of clients beginning to understand this variety, and some sommeliers keep some vintage in the cellar, and now have a vertical tasting in the restaurant of Meseguera of 5 years. And
that's nice.
Because call me sometimes, Tony, is the last bottle of 2005 or 2015 or 2014. You have more in the cellar? I say, sorry, but I don't have. I have 20 bottles, no more to make.
For my family only.
I'm sorry. In the last vintage, I keep more quantity. But at the beginning,
No, but I understand it's economics as well. Huh? You run a business. Huh? You cannot always keep them and wait for it. And to be honest, I think it's about educating people as well. And I
Yes.
think sommeliers have a very important role in this in restaurants because they can give you this experience. And I know it's not the Finca Calvestra, but I was earlier this month. I was at Zarzo with Adrian, and we had an evening with the tourism board for Valencia about promoting the Valencia region and about culinary city next year. Valencia is going to be the European culinary city, so they wanted to promote people to come, and of course they had some nice wines from the region, but Adrian opened a nice bottle of 2003 Quincha Corral.
Oh my God.
And yeah, I was very lucky because I said to him, we are going to have this interview. He said, oh, wait, but I have, and then he showed me, he has the 2003. And I think it's a really, really great experience. And it showed me, and I experienced that this wine with 2003 is one of your first vintages for the Quincha Corral, I think.
It's 2000.
2000 was the first.
Yeah, there is 2000.
So it's the second or the third one. I don't know if you made it every year, but
2001 is amazing for me. One of my favorite. 2002, I don't make it.
Yeah,
make it. No finca, no quincha. We have a big store.
Nothing.
Before habit, nothing. And 2003, I remember what was very, very hot vintage. Very hot vintage.
Maybe that's why it's still so really good, because it was so hot.
But the bobal have very nice acidity.
Yeah.
Very
I liked it a lot. Adrian from Zarzo in Eindhoven, the Michelin restaurant. He is from Valencia. I mean, he's half Spanish, half Dutch. But I was very thankful for him to open up the bottle because it gives me a nice introduction into your wine. But it also showed me how big the potential of the Bobal grape is.
It's amazing.
Because 2003, I mean, that's almost 20 years now, what we're talking about. So that's, yeah. People don't expect it.
We are writing the history of Bobal now. And, okay, I think the oldest Bobal you can find is now is Mustiguillo.
No, I think it's really great, and I like that you added the second chapter with the Mustiguillo in it into the story. Like I said, I always like it when there is a red and a white, and you have a dedication and devotion to pull off a second trick, because you could also say, okay, I'm tired now after doing all this battle with the Bobal, and now this is running smoothly. Now I'm just going to focus on this. But you just said, okay, I take a new challenge. I start over again. I do Mustiguillo, and now you have a really nice wine, I have to say. I think it shows, that if you really are determined, and you said 6 years. It's for a lot of people, 6 years they cannot imagine to spend 6 years of their life into building something, but that's really paying off. So respect for the
thank you.
The devotion you put into this, and the great wine that you make out of it.
Thank you.
It brings me to a question from last episode, because every week or every episode I ask a question from the guest for next week. So last time we had Maria, obviously in the show. I don't know if you watched it, but I asked her, do you have a question for Toni? Because I have to. Next episode is with Toni, so tell me, what should I ask Toni? And she was saying, okay, ask him about which vintage is he the most proud. So it's good, because we're just talking about these difficult vintages, the years where you didn't have even not had any wine because it was so bad. So which vintage that you produced is the one that you are most proud of, and why?
I have, so normally you have a favorite vintage normally, but sometimes a very difficult vintage is not the bad vintage, but you are very happy because you finish very difficult vintage.
All the hard work.
Yeah, I made a lot of hard job to obtain this vintage. It was difficult. I think I have probably, honestly, no only one. I think the 2001 was the second vintage of my life. I very, very happy because I don't know, I connected a lot with my project. It's very
a lot of things fell into place at this moment.
A small quantity. I remember only one person in the winery. I'm
that's hard work.
To know when to begin a project. 11 is amazing. It's very, very, very elegant. And I remember the vintage.
It's interesting, Tony, because now you say 2001, 2011. So you know 2021. There is a one in this. So
no, 21 is good, but it's
good.
It's
not special.
Like I think it's 11 good. In Quincha Corral, I think 14 is so good. 16 very too dry, high concentrate, a lot of tannin, and I think in another style, more light, but harvest is coming, no rain in the.
You have to take what it brings. Is sure.
Cold vintage, difficult vintage, but I think it's 1 and 11 for me.
Oh, well, I like it. I mean, this is one of the first things when I started doing this. It's not that long ago. It's 1.5 years, I think, now. And in the meanwhile, I talked to a lot of winemakers and wineries all across Europe and also outside of Europe. But what I like about it is every year is different. But every year, if you ask people a question like this, they remember. They know what happened. If you ask me in my other work, in my life, what happened in 2018, I will probably not come with something what is typical for 2018. When you make wine, you always remember what was happening there.
It's normal because we remember all the year because you live in the property, but you remember very intensity 20-25 days. 24 hours thinking in the weather, in the vines. Wine is. I think we are not special. The winemaker.
No, I know. But you say you're not special. But a lot of people, most people in the world, they would say that you are, because for most people that have a different job, for you this is normal. But you also had another life before you were a winemaker. You were working in a bank. Imagine if you were still working in a bank, then you would not look at it this way. But I think I like it. I mean, it's one thing that I learned that every year brings you something and learns you something, and you take it with you. Next year you use it, or maybe you don't use it because maybe it's not applicable. But every time you learn something, and at least it develops you as a person, and for that reason also the winery.
Yeah. I think every year is different. I say my family today I don't have. Enthusiasm to wait in the next harvest, I say bye. Because for me it's adrenaline.
Enthusiasm, it needs to be there. Enthusiasm, if it's not there, it's not going to work. So it's the passion that you need to have every vintage to pull it off and to make it a successful wine in the end. It's a long hard work for end result in the bottle, and you don't know when you start the year what you will get. It's always difficult to sometimes. I mean, I can imagine that over time you learn to accept that some things are not great, because it's just that's okay. You might have a good year, like in Germany, for instance. 2019, 2020 were very good years for Riesling. 2021, like a lot of countries this year, was a very bad year. But if you have a few good years in a run, then it's easy to get lazy is not the right word, but to get used to success. But nature always throws you off your feet. At some point, you get this bad vintage, and then you think about it again. Oh, it was not normal that I had 3 big, good success vintages.
We have a very bad vintage in 2013. We don't make Terrazzo. We don't make Quincha Corral. Quincha Corral is fine, but Finca Terrazzo is
this is lifeline
of the winery. You are in the winery, bad weather, rain, big punches. Go to the selection table, look for in the different vines, the old vines. It's so difficult.
There was nothing.
One day, another day. The team beginning to think bad, but you need to put all in the fire And if at the end you have good quality, go to the market. But if you don't have good quality, the best decision, in my opinion, is don't worry.
Yeah.
You make
new cards, new rounds, new cards.
Yes. For me, it's better. For me, it's very difficult when people go in a shop in one part of the world and in 100 or 1,000 wine choose Bobal, and I need this man or woman enjoy with my wine. For me, this is the very, very difficult.
The driver.
Yeah. For me,
and I get it, and it's also why I always, when people ask me about wine and it's like a tasting or something like that, or it's like a training or a workshop or whatever, I always say, remember, if you're a winemaker and you have a bad year, you cannot say, I'm just going to quit for the day and I'm just going to go and do something else. You have to do the full cycle of the year of the vines. You have to treat them. You have to do the whole pruning, everything you need to do it. You cannot say, if you have frost in the beginning of the year, oh, I forget about it, I will do something else. I do potatoes for this year, and next year I will do something else. It's not possible. You have to put in the same work, even if you know that you will not have a successful vintage.
You need to understand, sometimes the weather helps you to make a great vintage, and sometimes help you, don't help you, but you have a bad vintage. But
it's a little bit strange because you don't get paid for the quality that you make. A lot of other businesses, if your wine is better because you have a successful vintage, you can ask more. But every year, more or less, you charge the same price. So sometimes people get a very good wine for the price. Sometimes, it's not there, and then you don't get the money.
Yes.
But that's business of a life of a winemaker.
Yes.
Yeah. Good. Let's see if people have any questions, because we're nearing to the end of the show. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and we will try to answer them. In the meanwhile, we can talk about not next week, but the 10th of December. So in 2 weeks, we're gonna have Bibi Garcia for Cotillo Los Aguileras. You already mentioned, huh?
Amazing project.
It's an amazing project. It's really down. We go more south even. It's we talk about French varieties and Pinot Noir in a place where a lot of people think it's not possible. We're going to taste the Petit Verdot.
Yes.
But what is your, maybe you already thought about it. I think I already informed you, but if you want to ask Bibi a question about, maybe for her, maybe about the winery, maybe about the wines, what would you like to ask her? What should I ask her in 2 weeks when we have her in the show?
I think I asked Bibi probably if Bibi now choose a place in Spain to make wines.
Yeah.
Which place Bibi choose? I don't know.
So a different region.
Which region? I'm sure the answer is Cortijo de los Aguilares.
No, she cannot choose this.
but I think Bibi is a great winemaker. Understand very well the place, the soil, and understand very, very well the varieties, because it's so difficult to make a Pinot Noir in Andalusia, but with the Atlantic influence and with this quality, because the quality is great. It's great. It's one of my wines in my private cellar. The Bibi I enjoy a lot, and aging very well too, because more people say, okay, it's fine because it's fruity, but aging very well.
No, yeah, but Pinot Noir is difficult. If you want to, if you have a good one, then you know it's gonna last. If you don't, if it's not lasting, then you know it was just short success, but not a good one. The difficulty is to make it ageable. Good Pinot Noir. I agree. That's. I will ask her, and yes, she cannot choose the same regions. She has to take a very different region, because we're gonna force her to choose something else. Because it's always nice when people are bound to go in different direction. What are you going to do? It's already special that she has all the French varieties over there. In Andalusia you mentioned, so I think she could come up with some other nice region to start a new project if we ask her.
I think Bibi planted Garnacha. I think.
Yeah.
I think the wine is coming, but I don't know really. But the last time visit Cortijo, I don't know, 5 years ago, is thinking.
But in the same domain, in the same bodega, or
the high part of the property.
Okay.
Part of the property.
I will ask her about that as well. So, one question from me: if people want to buy the wine, we talked already about Spanish wine, other countries, and the Bobal grape being put on the stage, and not only in Spain. Can you tell us a little bit about where do you export the wine to at the moment? So which are the countries where you are active outside of Spain? Where can people find the wines?
I think are working in 32 different countries. The main market for us is, of course, 55% Spain. The rest is Central Europe. In Holland, we are with Benin Port Bar.
Yeah.
We are working in United Kingdom, in the different countries, in Germany, Belgium, Norway, Denmark, Switzerland, France, and
so the whole Western Europe for
Canada,
sure.
States, in Mexico, in Peru, Colombia, Hong Kong, Thailandia, Filipinas, New Zealand, Australia. I don't know.
It's interesting. You're saying also some South American countries.
In American countries, yes. In
South America, yeah.
South America, yes. In Mexico, in Costa Rica, in Colombia, y Peru, and Peru.
Okay. I have to ask because next week we are going to do. I'm going to do a regular episode of the talk show, Sarah Talks. But that's why we are going to do for everybody who's watching. Next one with Grandes Pagos is 10 December. So next week we have no Spanish guest, but we have a different guest, and it's Amanda Barnes. And Amanda is I don't know, maybe you know her, but she's a wine writer, journalist, and she spent a lot of years in South America. And she published a book about South America.
In Mexico, or?
She is not in Mexico. She's always traveling, I think. I think she's now in Argentina. But she is. It's a book she published last summer, I think. It's, I think, the first comprehensive book that describes the whole South America as a wine region. So not a book about Argentina or Chile, because it's easy.
Nice.
But she has a book, and she details really all the different countries and regions. So I'm going to ask her, because I'm thinking Bobal in Mexico, for instance. So obviously South America is known for a lot of varieties that traveled there. So maybe there is a Bobal grape that was hidden somewhere in South America.
It's beginning a good market for us, because 10 years ago, or 12 years ago, was very difficult talk about different varieties. No Tempranillo, no in Galicia, Albariño, Rueda, and Rioja. But now I spent the last week. I spent some days in Mexico, in Ciudad de Mexico.
Yeah.
A lot of new and young wine sommeliers talk about new varieties, and more people know Bobal variety, know the area of Utiel, Requena, Manchuela. Told me technical question. Are
you surprised sometimes that you are in the middle of Mexico and those young people come to you and they know already so much about Bobal and everything?
And contact with me the chairman of the Sommeliers of Mexico. Send me an email, Tony. I need to make a masterclass of talk about Bobal. Some people want to know your wine.
They're interested in this, yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
It shows that Bobal is traveling around the world, and that is now it's never ready. I think it's a project. It's your life project. Maybe it's safe to say that. Not only the Bobal, because also the Mustiguillo, but this putting these wines and these grapes on a stage is a project for life. It's not something you do for 6 years, and then then you have the wine. But spreading the news around the world, it takes a long time. So I think it's a really how do you call it? Appreciation of what you're doing. That all these people are also looking into the varieties and the wines, and not because it's your winery, but also it's the grape variety that is difficult to find a place in this big world of wine, because there's so much wine. It would be easy to forget about Bobal because
it's not easy, difficult, hard way, but step by step we are in more countries and in wine bars, in very good wine lists, in nice restaurant. It's more easy for the new wineries coming in the area, the young winemaker want make a Bobal. For me, I'm very happy. A young winemaker called me, Tony, I want visit your winery, please. Some things, and I open for the new wineries want make a good Bobal.
So you're not being protective. You
we
just
need more
want to,
wine. No, it's.
I agree, and I think maybe this is a nice closing note, because I don't think we have see Mr. Bobal. Somebody is saying Mr. Bobal, bravo, Tony. You see, so at least at some point somebody had to come and say, Mr. Bobal.
My friend is another crazy. It's another.
But I think it's good to wrap it up, and then some maybe last words from your side. But what I wanted to say is that I think it's nice. It's the same with Grandes Pagos, that you are really not feeling it, looking at this as competition, but you're really trying to go to a higher level. And not just being successful with your company and with your wines, but really opening up the doors for Bobal and for Spanish wine, and also wanting people to take advantage of this, that are in the same industry. You said young winemakers that have to learn. Sometimes they take very different paths than their parents did, even if they were not winemakers. But even if they are in a wine family, sometimes you really have to stand up and say, sorry, but I'm not going to do it in the way you did it for decades. So I see you smiling. You were sort of part of the same exercise. So I think it's really nice to see and to hear that you're taking this role, and it's paying off. And I think that shows that the world should be very thankful of all the effort that you put in there, and the great wines that you make. So my compliments for that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Some last words maybe for you before we close it up, and then, like I said, we take 1 week break for Spain, and then we go next week to Cotillo Los Aguileres, so 2 weeks.
Okay. No, I think it's thank you for your time. Thank you for helps to introduce the Grandes Pagos de España project in your country, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to show my wines to your friends. And you have your home in Mustiguillo, and your friend have the Mustiguillo. The door is open to know more the Bobal variety and Mustiguillo variety.
I already heard that you are a great guest, so if people want to visit, and of course next time when I come in the region I will come and visit, but I already saw that you make a great guest and you show everything to everybody. You go in the vineyard, you even have a big hole in the vineyard where you show the soil of the deep down. I like it. I saw that in a picture. It was very good.
When you want.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will be very intrigued in investigating how the grapes are being grown and the wines produced. So very much looking forward to do that when I'm able to visit you guys. Thanks again, and thank you for the great wine and the talk, and a nice talk. We're going to put a review of the wine up later, so people can watch that and read what we think about the great Mustiguillo. I'll show it again before we wrap it up. So beautiful bottle. What's on? Maybe my last question. The picture.
The picture is the property.
That's the original one.
A small worker house in the property in Calvestra.
Yeah.
It's in the mountain. You can look in the forest.
Yeah.
And look the mountains.
That's nice. Yeah, in the back you see really the high mountains and the trees that are surrounding the vineyard and the house. Yeah, very good. It's beautiful, Toni. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Have a great weekend, and we will meet again, and then we will talk more for sure, and also enjoy some of your great wines.
Bye bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you everybody for watching, and next week.